Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United talked on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United at the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes now. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United, the National League, are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to episode of Sutton Podcast. It's Mike, Sarah and Dave. We're going to be talking about the Leyton Orient match. We're going to look forward to the visit in Northampton. I think we look forward to describe these things. Don't forget you can help with costs. Support the show with one-off donations or regular subscriptions by joining us on Patreon. If you want to know more, look for the supporters page on the website, which is podcast, or drop me a message in the socials. Right, so we're going to get to it. We're going to say hello to everyone. We'll start off with Joe. Hello, Joe. It's February since we last saw you. It was Doncaster match.
Yep, definitely.
And how have you been?
I've been good, exam years. So yeah, I haven't been. Unfortunately, I think I haven't. Orient was the first match of Buster due to a combination Grim's move and me being Kent and crew was on. So it was nice to get back.
I love the way you jumped in there to study and knew I was going to jump on you. How's your studying going? Are you doing revision? Is it? So very well done. And next up we have got Sarah. Hello, Sarah. How are you?
Hi, Mike. I'm all right, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's about 7 weeks in Harrogate since you were on.
Is it?
Yeah, so it sounds long time. It sounds always, when I write it like that, it sounds like, oh my God, that's ages ago, but it wasn't that long.
No, it's not that long ago, is it?
No. And then lastly, one of the very first people to sign up for the guests mailing list, and yet it's only now he's making his debut. Dave, hello, Dave.
I know, yeah, it's good to be here. I know, I live so far away. Maybe 1 or 2 matches a season is my maximum, I think.
Well, I think because you do listen, you should really be knowing what's happening next. Tell us all about yourself. Who are you?
Brilliant. I'm Dave. I've been a Sutton fan since 1990. Born and raised in Sutton, or North Cheam, a bit more precise. I don't know what more to say, but moved away in 2011. Lived down in sunny Hampshire.
Perfect. Right. I just want to say, if in case anyone is actually watching live, that redness is not sunburn. I've just the sun is streaming in the window, and I've put a tea towel up to block it, and I've just realised it's a bright red tea towel, so it probably wasn't the best choice. So before we move on to anything here, a couple of weeks ago actually, I had a little chat with the Volunteer Centre Sutton, and it's about what they do, highlighting a showcase event they've got coming up on Tuesday. So there's something for everyone there, and they were very keen to make sure it was clear that if you sign up for something, it isn't a live session. And to anyone who's not on live, that interview is going to be popping on now. If you are listening live, you can figure out listening. Right, something for a little bit different. You know, I like to sort of highlight different things going on, or trying to highlight different things going on within the wider borough of Sutton. Obviously, we're all very focused and interested in Sutton United, but there are other things going on in the world. And joining me now to that end is Nick and Natasha from the Sutton Volunteer Centre. Thank you both for giving up part of your bank holiday weekend for me. And how are you both?
Fantastic. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having us on.
Really
Excellent.
good. Thank you for inviting us.
So, as mentioned, you guys are from the Sutton Volunteer Centre, which I already know lots of listeners will be kind of pulling back and volunteering. Can you sort of tell us a little bit about what the Volunteer Centre does, what kind of opportunities there are? Because, I know a little tiny bit because I used to do the mentoring many years ago. But I know you do quite a few other bits and pieces around the borough.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Yeah, Sutton actually has a brilliant record or track record of volunteering and community-minded people. I think we have one of the highest volunteering rates in the whole of London when you compare all the boroughs. And the Volunteer Centre in Sutton is a massive sort of driving force for that. So we sort of see ourselves as the go-to place for all volunteering in the borough. Whether you're a volunteer or whether you're an organisation looking to recruit volunteers, and manage volunteers, we help something like 1,500 people get into volunteering every single year. And it's a fascinating place to work from our point of view because there's two sides to it, really. On the one hand, we run our own volunteer projects. So you mentioned things like mentoring. We have a befriending service where we reach out to the socially isolated. We work with communities that have moved into the area, such as the Hong Kong community and Ukrainians. We also work with in health and young people. So we run a lot of projects ourselves and we recruit and manage volunteers. But we also work with something like over 500 organisations in Sutton who actually recruit volunteers. So a big part of Natasha's role is to sort of work with those guys, help them onboard volunteers, look after them, keep volunteers. And there's a huge range of different ways that people can get involved as well.
Okay, so why? This is going to sound really mercenary. Why should I give up my time to volunteer? What kind of benefits are there for me?
Yeah. That is a great question. And a lot of people come into our offices. We're based above the Sound Lounge, just off the High Street. So we're really accessible to local people. And a lot of people pop in to ask that sort of thing or to chat to us about volunteering. And I think a lot of people come to us. A lot of volunteers, when it works really well, get as much out of it as the people we're actually helping. It can be a route into work for young people if they want to build up experience. Some people even come to us when they've had a life change. So maybe a bereavement, or they've retired, or they're recovered from some illness and they want to give back to society. And I think more than ever, I think people just want to feel like they're contributing to things. And I think the relationships you build out, the social connections you make with the people you're volunteering with, you're often part of a team, can be so fulfilling. And I think more than ever, there's a real movement in society to just sort of give back and feel like you're making a difference on the local level and really see the benefits of your actions. So whether you're helping a young person to overcome some challenges, to clean up your local environment, to help an older person who might be on their own, it's just really rewarding. And it can be a small commitment of time, or it could be something over a longer term. So there really is something for everyone. And I know we're going to talk about an event we've got coming up shortly. But yeah, the diversity of volunteering is probably more than ever before. There really is a kind of huge range of things that people can get involved in.
Yeah, because there's a couple of things there. One is, yeah, you mentioned it. Oh, we're above the Sound Low, but I very confidently, when I agreed to meet you a couple of weeks ago, I was like, yeah, I know exactly where you are, and yeah, you've moved. I didn't realise that at all. One of the things you sort of said to me, for Sutton United fans, obviously you've got some connections with the club, but just to give you an idea of the little things, is I agreed that I'd help out every now and then on the Sunday morning Sunday afternoon rather, with the nets and stuff for the ladies' football team. Just to help out. I'm a nice guy. And then last Sunday I was in the dugouts clearing out the flooded dugouts of the rainwater, and I'm like, I never signed up to this. So I know a lot of people will hear, especially when we got people on our board who they kind of started off with Sutton United as volunteering for a role, and then suddenly it's kind of taken over their whole life. But you mentioned that you've kind of got like WhatsApp groups where people just need a little something done, and it's a one-off quick project.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. We have projects which range from, it could be, some things could span years. You know, if you're meeting with someone on a weekly basis to mentor them or to reach out to them because they're older, you might meet with someone across a year or even longer. But also we appreciate that people's time is precious, and sometimes people just have the odd few hours or time to help out as well. So we've actually got a community WhatsApp squad that we've created, which is literally for anyone can sign up to. We'd encourage anyone in the borough to sign up for it, and they can pick and choose the task that we post on there that they might have some capacity or skill set to get involved in. So it could be some tree planting, for example, or it could be that we need to help deliver some toy boxes to a Ukrainian community school that we've set up recently, and we just need something getting from A to B. Or it could be that somebody needs something, fixed in their home. A very simple task that you might live around the corner from, and you can pop in and help. So the WhatsApp group is a really great way that it's almost like an entry point, I guess, to volunteering. People can sign up for the group. If anyone's listening would like to sign up, we'd love to get you on board. And as I say, there's no commitment other than just to see tasks pop up. Let us know you can get involved, and it might be a way that you can get involved in volunteering if you've never done before. And also, from a sports perspective, we've got loads of sports teams and coaches that might need little tasks conducted. If you're interested in anything you're interested in, there's probably going to be something for you that we can help with and get you involved.
Yeah, there's little things as well that you don't realise what you're able to do can really help other people, because I don't put myself as I've got any special skills, but then one of our supporters was really, really struggling with downloading a program. So one of the clubs we went to was just literally was only online, you can only download it and blah blah, and she was getting very flustered because wasn't able to do it, and slightly older, feeling silly because can't do it. And that's a lot of people get that with digitally. I work in the council and it's a big thing, and I'm like, yeah, do you know what, just give me it, I'll do it for you. And she was absolutely delighted, and it made such a big difference to her. And I'm like, honestly, can you stop? It was 2 minutes of my life.
Yeah.
It's nothing special. But is it that kind of thing that people can get?
Yeah, everyone has something to offer, don't they? And I think it's what our job is to connect that need with the local community. And as I said, it could be something that takes you 20 minutes, could be someone who might have tried to spend the whole weekend doing. And so we work with the people looking for those volunteers, and we've obviously got this huge pool. We've got over 100 people already, and we've only just literally in the last few weeks started this particular task. But it's just going to benefit the local community. So it could be something technical. It could be something delivering something. It could be something handy in someone's home. It could be helping with some sort of tech issue or something like that. And it's just helping the local community. And it's there's so many great people involved in sports clubs, and at Sutton United ourselves. You guys hold a coffee morning regularly for charities to come in. We've been in to talk about a health role that we recently been involved in, which is absolutely fantastic. So I think, and also we've talked to the club about being very happy to sort of host group sessions and things like that. So all of this stuff overlaps, but our job is to try and get people aware of volunteering, the benefits of it, both from a mental health perspective, from a sort of social perspective. And there's really great ways that all the different kind of key organisations in the borough, Sutton United being one of them, can work together and have a fantastic outcome for the local community.
Excellent. So on that WhatsApp group and other bits, how do people get involved? I mean, they're going to hear this and they go, yeah, I can do that. We're going to strike. This is what you need to do. Here's your call to action. Go.
Yeah. And it's very simple, which you'll be pleased to hear, Mike. Just literally need to get into contact with myself, Nick Baum. I don't know whether you want to give up my number on the podcast or whether we can do it separately, but let's just literally, if they can drop me a WhatsApp, I'll add them to the group. They'll start seeing some of these feeds of volunteer tasks coming through, and we can talk to you and we can go from there. And it's super simple. We've got a bank, as I said, already of well over 100, and we anticipate that's going to be several hundred in a few months' time. And it's just going to be a fantastic way of just connecting people to the things that need doing in the borough.
Perfect. And over and above that, there is another way we're going to be telling people about what we do. There's a special event coming up, I believe.
Yeah, so I'll let Natasha talk about this, but just the basic premise of it is, as part of the King's coronation, which is coming obviously very soon in May, the King has kind of done a bit of a call to action for local people to get involved. It's called the Big Help Out. So it's encouraging people to just basically give back to the local community through volunteering. So it's massive synergy with what we do at Volunteer Centre Sutton. And to sort of really tee that up and to give a chance for people locally to have a massive flavour of what's going on and how they can get involved. Some of the things we talked about. We're having a big event on the 18th of April in the Sutton Library. So Natasha's leading on that. So Natasha, do you fancy telling everyone about it?
Yeah. So I'm fairly new to the volunteering sector, working in it. I've always volunteered myself, and this is the biggest year that we've seen for volunteering, in that what Nick just spoke about with the Big Help Out. It's going to be across all national media to kind of have this call out for people to get involved. So our event on Tuesday, the 18th of April, is the plan is to get people kind of riled up and excited about it in the lead up to the 8th of April. So the 8th of May. The 8th of May is the bank holiday Monday. So that's all dedicated to volunteering. We have a few options that people can volunteer on the day itself, such as Manor Park is going to be having a big fete where people can get involved and volunteer there, and various other ones that we're also helping people navigate their way to. So Tuesday, the 18th of April, is our Sutton Volunteer Showcase at Sutton Central Library. So the main library on the High Street at the top, from 2 p.m. till 6 p.m. So hopefully we're going to be able to have people who are around during the day before school pickup and after school kids and after work. So hopefully everyone will be able to pop in. And we're really excited to have over 25 organisations really eager and keen to showcase what they do and how people can get involved. We've got organisations from big, well-established organisations like Royal Marsden and St Raph's, Age UK Sutton. We also have smaller grassroots organisations such as Ruskin Road Repair Cafe and Carshalton Lavender. We've got the parks groups are all coming together, so Manor Parks Group, and a really big variety from children's charities through to outdoor charities, health charities, caring charities, anything that people are involved in or interested. Even if charities aren't there, we've got people from the Volunteer Centre Sutton able to talk about opportunities with animals, opportunities in charity shops, everything. And also on top of having the stalls to make it really interactive and help people kind of get involved and not feel like it's a bit intimidating, we have a series of talks and activities and workshops which we're really excited about. So we've actually got so much interest that along with the first floor of the library, which is the main area, which we're going to be taking over, which is just up the stairs from the main library area and the kind of community space. We also have a bit of space on the ground floor, including the family hub. So there'll be activities for children, there'll be arts and crafts. So if you've got children, they can be entertained as well. It's not just them trudging around after mum and dad. As I said, we've got talks, including one exactly on the topic you talked about, Mike, about why volunteering is good for you. So we've got a whole talk about why volunteering is good for you, led by someone who actually got an MBE in no small part due to her work in volunteering and setting up 2 charities. So really interesting speakers. Not all about volunteering. We've got a talk about, lavender uses, a talk about sight vision, a talk about the new Oaks Cancer Centre. So if you just want to find out what's happening in the borough and what's going on, you're sort of a bit curious, it's a great opportunity to really see what's going on in the community and exactly what you've been speaking about, all the different bits that make such a big change to our neighbours, to our friends, to our school groups. We've got a lot of interest from children who are looking for Duke of Edinburgh opportunities. So we have a whole stall dedicated to under 18s volunteering. So if any parents are listening out and think, I don't know what to do with my kids, their DOV is coming up, come along, speak to us, we can help out. Also, as Nick said, if people are in between jobs and looking for support in terms of how to get back into work through volunteering, we can help you with that. There's just such a huge spectrum of organisations coming, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of energy, and we're really excited about it, along with the workshops such as, Ruskin Road Repair Cafe and some of the others, showing you practically what you're going to be doing as you volunteer.
Yeah, now we know you're so technically proficient, Mike. We should have got you involved as well, by the sounds of it.
I heard all that, and all I could be thinking of is, Christ, how many emails did I send her to chase up to get this interview? I feel really bad that you've done all this other stuff and you've got this idiot going, can we do this? Can we do this? I'm so sorry.
No, it's great.
Also, again, a little bit mercenary here. Some of those things sounds like something that parents could do for free to entertain their children when they, like some of the parks things. I remember years and years and years ago, I'm going back donkeys, Rewsbury Wood, when that was just planted. So we're up in Carshalton. I remember there was a big day that loads of people came and spent a couple of hours planting trees and stuff, and I've never really thought about it since. Obviously, it's now all fully matured. That's how old I am. So I mean, you can kind of try and pick something to do to almost entertain yourselves, not only for free, but for helping someone else as well. So you get that little nice warm feeling. What kind of, I mean, you said some of them, one of the questions people always ask of these things is, what kind of success stories are there of volunteering? So we've had someone who kind of has just wandered in, kind of don't really know what to do. And how have we sort of had success with them in the community or just personally?
From a career perspective, so as I said, I'm fairly new to the role, but I've had a great time going around and meeting all our organisations. And actually, there's been a handful of people that I've spoken to who are working in the area that I'm meeting them in, and they got their job through volunteering in that organisation. So they volunteered, actually they found the job or the volunteering role through Volunteer Centre Sutton. They applied for the volunteer role. They then happened to get a paid job within the organisation, and then they're speaking to Volunteer Centre Sutton about what they're doing. So it's a lovely circle of that kind of that's specifically a career perspective. But yeah,
and countless examples of people that have made friends for life, improved their mental health. Just kind of created a whole new sort of social scene for themselves, really. And also lovely stories of people that perhaps have volunteered or have come from a challenging background, have benefited from volunteering, gone on to volunteer themselves, and as Natasha said, gone on potentially to have careers in that space as well. So the whole thing is definitely something that works together. There's two sides to every coin, and it's lovely to see some of those outcomes. I mean, even locally, we're helping the Ukraine community at the moment. And every Saturday morning, 50 Ukrainian young people are managed in a project which we run. It's a chance for that community, which is obviously quite disparate, to come together to celebrate their culture, and to have a kind of community base for them. So even some of the outcomes are very anecdotal. Some of them are just very, very positive stories. But there's definitely employability that's beneficial, but also just social, mental health, and a chance to just connect with people on a local level. So there's, and every kind of volunteering, I guess, has some element of that we're involved in, whether it's a one-off or a wider project. So there's always some lovely content and stories around some of this stuff, I think. Yeah. And even in a repair cafe, you fix someone's toaster. What could be better than that? An hour spent, well spent.
and we've spoken about kind of one-off opportunities, but we've had the other end of the extreme where we've had some people who've become, I wouldn't say addicted to volunteering, but they, when I get them to write down, how they're involved with volunteering, they end up with a whole A4 piece of paper of all the different organisations that they get involved in, and it sort of becomes this sort of having that buzz of that, like you were talking about, Mike, that kind of feel-good factor, and actually thinking, how can I get more of this feel-good factor that doesn't cost me anything apart from time and a smile? Yeah. And actually, there's so many opportunities out there to get involved and help that it becomes this something people enjoy doing generally.
So and you asked about getting involved, Mike. So the WhatsApp group is obviously a brilliant point, but the event on the 18th is the ideal chance to, if you're not sure and you're thinking about getting involved, you're not sure what you might want to do, it is literally the perfect place to come, because there's going to be so much choice, so much fun stuff to sort of look at and people to talk to, and there'll be other volunteers talking about their experiences. So it couldn't be a better place for anyone to come along to as a starting point to find out more. And another thing on an ongoing basis at the centre that we're doing is we're having volunteer advisors on hand. So there'll be times when people can book to come in and have a chat with one of our team, and we can show them how to get involved and do a similar thing on a more ongoing basis as well. So they can book in with a volunteer advisor, they can find out how to search for roles online, and we can match people up that way as well. So yeah, lots of ways people can get involved. Excellent. And we're here to help.
So on that, sorry, Natasha, go on.
I was just going to say on the database that Nick was mentioning. So even if you don't want to kind of give your number to Nick quite yet, but you sort of want to have a bit of a lurk and have a bit of a look around, we've got a Simply Connect database that you can look at. It's online, so it's available 24/7. You can just have a bit of a scan of the roles that are available, and follow your curiosity. But as you said, come and meet us.
I was actually going to ask, because there is going to be people back going, "Oh, I don't want to do that yet." So give us a shout out for the website, and then up to you, Nick, whether you want to put your number or just how to email you, whichever you guys want to do. So basically, if someone's listening, going, I'm not sure I want to actually speak to someone face to face yet. How can they do this all digitally?
Okay, so my number is 07887 501 730. So that's 07887 501 730. My name is Nick at the Volunteer Centre Sutton, and I'd love to hear from you. We'll get you signed up to our WhatsApp group straight away, and I can also help direct you to other potential projects internally. The website is vcsutton.org.uk. So that's www.vcsutton.org.uk. And again, a fantastic starting point, and a lot of the information we've talked about today and the different projects are all on there, and also further ways you can get in touch with us as well.
Thank you very much. I've only kept you for twice the amount of time that I promised I would. So enjoy the rest of your bank holiday weekend, and hopefully see you on the 18th.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Mike. Thanks everybody. Cheers.
Bye.
So do pop along, do drop a message, check out the website. There's lots of volunteering things, and that idea of a WhatsApp group they've got, which you can kind of join. It's a job that you can do. There's loads of things people can't do. So do, or at least find out and share the message. Club lose. The ladies team lost today. Enfield. It was a bit of a mad game. I looked away for a second, and there was 2 goals in about 45 seconds. It went 0-0 to 1-1, but unfortunately in the first half 2-1. Second half. But please do come along next 2 Sundays. We're at home. Should go through Gander Green Lane. The weather shouldn't cause a problem. Still free entry. You can walk around the whole ground. Obviously, some people don't walk around the whole ground. They fail. And you can have a pint outside as well if you want. So they always appreciate the support. So please do come along. And you might get lucky and even see me bailing out the dugouts again. And this segues me brilliantly, smoothly into the Her Game 2 day we had yesterday. Which was the second one of the season. Well done, Sarah. And it was more focused on the playing side. So first question is, have you recovered?
Not really, because I was up all night Friday night making cakes and I'm too old to do that sort of thing. So that's not going to happen again.
Yeah. Well, you didn't make it easy for yourself on the cakes. There was something a little bit special in those cakes, which I didn't realise until you'd mentioned WhatsApp group games. So tell us a bit more about your cakes.
Well, I wanted to kind of really give a bit of a plug for Her Game too. And all the clubs, not all the clubs, but most of the clubs that are partnered up with Her Game too have got an ambassador. I'm the ambassador for Sutton, as you know. There's such a great bunch of people to work with. So I wanted to kind of sort of honour them in a way and recognise the work they do by making them all into cakes. So each of the cakes had a little figure of a little person with a football on top, and each one of them represented one of our Her Game 2 ambassadors. So they were all based on real people. But when you're making 60 of those, it's a bit time consuming.
Yeah. And to be fair, no one would have noticed. Like the bloke who was standing there as I was there, and he went, "All right, so who's this then?" As he shoved the girl from Exeter straight in his mouth. You've just eaten a real person here. You can't do that. But it seemed a success from my point of view. There was a lot going on. I was a little tiny bit nervous. The girls were on the pitch parading, and they kind of stopped away end. And I was like, how's this going to work? And then they went their way, and the Leyton Orient fans, bless them, they copied the Stockport fans from a week back, gave them a load of support and the chance to Champione. And I'm sitting there going, we should have been that. That should have been.
They were in a good mood, weren't they, Leyton Orient?
Yeah.
But no, I'm going to give them some credit for that, because Leyton Orient fans haven't, I mean, no offence to the club, they haven't always been my favourite set of fans. They don't always behave themselves impeccably. But yesterday, that was the best I've ever seen Leyton Orient fans behave. I think they did great. They weren't even taking the mickey out of us. They were just supporting them.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, I mean, it obviously helps that they're likely, unless there's an absolute disaster of Wimbledon proportion, sorry. Unless there's a disaster, they're going to get it promoted and probably win the title. It's also nice to see some of the first team players there. And the other bit, which I thought was really good but annoying, I know you know my feelings on this, the safe space. Annoyed that people feel like they need this, but I understand why they need this. I'm not going to ask that question about was it popular or not. But just sort of remind us a bit more about the Her Game 2 thing and what people can do if they want to talk to you about it, or even just ask, we'll explain it, justify it.
Okay. Well, the idea of the safe space was just because for various reasons, a lot of women have found themselves feeling a bit uncomfortable at football matches. Sometimes the atmosphere is a bit, you get chants that come across quite sexist, and it can be quite intimidating for women if they're like sexual chants singing about women, and you're standing there with all these men who are like chanting about women's body parts, and that sort of thing. And a lot of, we did, at Her Game 2, we did a survey not long ago, and a lot of, we're asking women who don't go to football matches why they don't go to football matches. And so a lot of them actually said because they didn't like the atmosphere. And obviously football's football, and we don't want to sanitise it. We don't want to take away the things that make a good atmosphere, and, the whole culture of football. We don't want to take all it away, but we just want to make it so it feels safe for everybody and feels welcoming for everybody, whilst retaining all the fun bits. And the idea of the safe space was if any women wanted to come and talk about anything that was bothering them, anything that was stopping them coming to football, anything that was making them feel a bit iffy about it or feeling unsafe, what could we do to make them feel safer, and that sort of thing. So it's always good to talk to other people who are in the same sort of situation as you. So that's kind of why I've always said, come and talk to me, because I'm the ambassador for Her Game 2. any issues that female fans or male fans, in fact, report to me about sexism or anything to do with, women not feeling safe at football, I can take it straight to the campaign and get some advice on what to do about it. And also I'll take it to the club because I'm the link between the campaign and the club. I'm lucky, actually. My job isn't too hard as her Game 2 ambassador because Sutton's already quite a inclusive and welcoming club. There's not actually a lot of things, as far as I'm aware, that we need to change at the moment. But I say as far as I'm aware because there might be some women out there or girls who've been sort of experiencing some of this and I don't know about it. So, if you do have any sort of misgivings about anything, no, that's not quite the right word. If you're bothered about anything at football that's to do with sexism, you can come to me and I will do everything I can to kind of help support the club to basically stop that from happening. And also, if you're a guy and you see something that bothers you because you're like, that's not how they should be treating women, then you can also come to me. It's, it's for everybody to... I'm here for anyone who wants to talk about it, basically, and I'm here to sort it out, if I can.
Perfect. So, yeah, so you're not looking for problems, but if you don't know about a problem, then do anything about it. The message from my side is in the same, because there's no point. Be as happy as you like at football, but you don't need to make anyone else unhappy for any reason. If anyone doesn't know Sarah, then who are you? But if you don't know Sarah, you can always drop me a message. Come find me. I think everyone knows exactly where I stand. So you can always come find me and I'll quite happily point you in the right direction. But yeah, guys, just keep on keeping on. It's nice to know that Sarah's got nothing to do. That's perfect. She has got lots to do. Don't
give me too much to do.
But bit early to say, but it seemed successful yesterday. Were you pleased with how it went?
Yeah, well, we had a great turnout for the match, which I was hoping for because it was local game, big game for Leyton Orient. So it's good to have a really big crowd to sort of see our girls' team celebrating their achievement. That was heartwarming. It really was. And having the women's first team there as well was fantastic. And having them mingling in the fan zone with the young girls, that was so nice. It was really heartwarming. So I think that went really, really well. And the cakes were quite popular as well. They were raising money for our girls' team, so that was great too. So I think it all went really well. It wasn't sort of didn't do all the things that we did the last Her Game 2 fixture because, like you said earlier, we wanted to have a slightly different focus on this one. So I think we might try and bring it all together into one big occasion next season rather than having two with slightly less on. So yeah, it went great. No issues. No, I don't think anything really didn't go well yesterday, so that was great. Apart from the actual match on the pitch,
We'll move on to that. Right, so I did set you guys some homework. Hopefully you've all remembered the ultimate team.
Mike, I'm going to put my hands up now and say I have no idea what you wanted us to do.
Okay. We're going to ask you to challenge one of the teammates. You're all putting faces at me. Does anyone want to do it, or shall I skip this again? Joe?
I haven't thought about it, Mike, because I didn't realise that's what you wanted.
Okay, fair enough.
It's too difficult to really...
Yeah. I wouldn't want to step on other people.
Right. Dave, I'm not letting you have a go because the last one...
I did have a go.
When you did that, I got a message from Dundo asking why I hated him. And I went, whoa, hang on a minute. 1 second.
You can't do that to Dundo.
There were calls that said, I think Chalmers were going, Dundo, tell him he can't use your voice in the title. And I was like, let's calm down here. We'll have to have possibly another spot on the subs bench forever done. Okay, well, we'll leave that. That's fine. We will get on to the match. Let's start with the lineup. So, firstly, did everyone know why Ben wasn't there? Or did we not know that at the time? Because I think it was kind of rumours around and everything. But congratulations to Ben. Baby and Mum are doing very well. I did point out, Dave, you'll be with me on this. I did point out to him, I asked him how he was. Appreciate that question because I'm not going to get asked it for about another year. No one's going to care how you are. But yeah, Mum Baby's doing well, and but yeah, had his baby, and he was sick as well the whole week. Well, I've got no reason to doubt that he was sick as well. But yeah, no Ben. Easty, bad news. It's unlikely we're going to see him before Carlisle, I believe, if then. And the good news was Josh in the side, which one of the early episodes this year I made a mistake, and oh my god, it's bouncing. But what were your thoughts ahead of the match, Joe?
Yeah, Enzio at right back, good. But I mean, Jack was, I was kind of a bit. The team was good. I don't know. I feel like the lineup. I think Angle. I hoped I was right back to see Sam and know how. Good to see Tyler Dickham.
Yeah.
Because I felt a bit bad for him. See, I had that. I was like, okay.
Sam's 26.
No, is he not?
So-
The person I was speaking to said he was like 23.
Oh, compared to Rob, he's very young. But, Dave, what were your thoughts ahead of the match?
Slightly concerned about the form going into this game. We'd lost a few and haven't won in 6, is it?
Yeah.
No Craig Eastman, no Will Randall. It was always going to be difficult. So, but I mean, I thought they played really well considering who we were missing.
And Sarah, what were you ahead of the match? Did you have any time to think about anything ahead of the match? Sorry.
No, I did not. But I mean, pretty much what Dave said, actually. I mean, I didn't really have time to look at the lineup beforehand, but I knew that we would be missing a few players that we needed to be at our very best. I didn't know about Ben until afterwards. But I knew, I mean, to be honest, with our form going into the game and with Leyton Orient, I would have been happy with a point from that game, even though we were at home. I know that sounds pessimistic, and I obviously always try to support the team onto a win, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't have been upset if we hadn't won, if we'd drawn. I wouldn't say I never go to a game expecting to lose, but I'm not surprised that we did.
Yeah, there's games you walk away from going, oh, never mind. So, I mean, we've mentioned the illness. Obviously, we don't exactly know what's gone through the camp, but Matt's mentioned it 3 or 4 times now with a lot of people going down with this. There were people who didn't even train the day before, a couple of days before, and they were playing. Jack was one of them, Joe. I mean, it has to impact their performance. And I know it's really difficult. I've said it before. Sometimes you forget they're humans. You just go, oh, well, they're playing football, get on with it. And how you are when you're feeling ill, you just can't do anything getting up and down a pitch. It's amazing and very resilient. And it took 2 excellent goals to beat us. We'll start with the free kick, which maybe never was. Dave, I'll start with you on this one. What did you sort of think of the award of the free kick, and then how unlucky was Jack of it coming back?
I mean, from where I was standing, it didn't. I didn't think it wasn't a free kick. But yeah, it was when it went in. It was kind of like wow, that's why they're top. And it was, and the keeper's unlucky as well because it hit the bar and then hit the back of his head or whatever, and then went and it bobbled in. But it was an outstanding free kick. Whether or not it was a free kick, I don't know. It didn't look that bad to me.
I mean,
I'm on the fence on that one.
Yeah. To me, it looked like Jack actually tipped it onto the bar, so it would have been a good. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. It looked like he touched it onto the bar. Sarah, what were your thoughts at that point?
I thought it was going to hit the bar and bounce out, but it didn't.
And then there was the right back, I think he was. He scored an absolute worldie.
Some of their players looked a bit shocked as well.
Yeah,
it was quality, wasn't it?
It was brilliant.
So, well, that's quite a finish. I'm not going to argue with that.
I had a weird moment before the goal, the build-up, and I'm actually very proud. Well, I was proud of it in the moment, but then I realised is that when he got the ball, he's hitting it. He's going to hit this, and then it went in, and then the kind of the muted celebration, we just kind of looked around, kind of ran away. He didn't really know what to do. That's kind of the luck we've had a bit. Jack,
yeah, I mean. I think we're allowing the free kick as a goal. It's probably, but Leyton Orient have scored 3 cracking goals out of the 4 they scored again. 3 absolute cracking. I
thought you said your sister. Then I was like, I didn't even know you had a sister.
My system's saying it can't find my video, but yes, you can.
You're a little bit. You look a bit weird, but blotchy.
That might not be the video.
No, you don't normally look so pixelated in real life.
That's just your eyesight coming back into focus. Jack made a few saves throughout the match. He kind of kept us in it a little bit. But the second half, we did well against them. I mean, was that them taking their foot off the gas, or was that us playing better with Matt's? Sarah, if I'll start with you on this.
I think they did let up a bit on the second half. Maybe they felt sorry for us. But no, I also think we played better in the second half, so that's not taking anything away from our players. I don't know. I think they did. Yeah, I think they kind of relaxed a little bit. Who knows?
Joe, what were your thoughts?
I think it was then. I think towards the end of the first half, And I think going into the game side, and I think game managed the game. We had there out to the, it was a bit unfortunate. What it is.
Definitely, at 26 minutes, you would have taken that. Ending 2-0.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Dave?
Yeah, after that second one went in, I thought, just how many are they going to score today? But second half, we came out, we took the game to them a lot more. I think we were putting a lot through Omar, long balls up to him, he would hold the ball up. But yeah, Angle, I think perhaps should have got that header on target. But then, yeah, we had got some good balls in, but I think we're just picking the wrong player out or not, as it was. I mean, they had a few chances again in the second half, but which they seem to just forget how to score at that point. But yeah, especially one, I think the guy that scored the free kick, he was through and then he just wildly smacked it into the stand, which got a bit of a cheer from us. But
there was another one where I think, again, I've been their right back or something from that side, pinged this ball, this absolute peach of a ball, and someone miles of space, and everyone was just like, oh, okay. And then I think Jack saved that one.
Their right winger was very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good. But I think Jack did well against him.
Yeah.
But I think for pretty much most of the second half, we looked equal to them.
Yeah,
one thing I would say, Enzio, I know I said about him in the lineup, but he was actually right, kind of out, which is a bit weird, but sometimes he's just like, I'll just sit back. But he those last first 25 minutes right back, he put a ball which I hadn't had to do for ages, switching from right back to where you fit. But yesterday, where's that been?
So, yeah, we lost, I think only, as I said, a bizarre set of circumstances and stop them going up. I think it requires Bradford and Northampton to draw, win every other game, and Leyton Orient to lose every other game, then as fourth. Yeah, it's remarkably unlikely. I suppose it's mathematical, but it's really unlikely. But for us, it seems we've got a new sort of target, 10th. Are we going to hang on to it in the top 10? We're going to stay in the top 12. Sarah, what are your thoughts for the rest of the season? Where do you realistically see us finish? The running is...
Yeah, it's tricky to say because we've just had a really ridiculously difficult set of 4 games in 18 days, I think it was, something like that, all against top 7 sides. So our form is not good at the moment, but if you take away, if you allow for the teams we've been playing in the last few games, maybe it's not as bad as it looks. So, yeah, you're right. We do have a tricky run in, but hopefully we can pick up a little bit. We tend to have patches where we just drop loads of points for a while, and then we have patches where we play really well and get loads of points. It seems to alternate between the two. Don't seem to have anything in between. So I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to hope that we kind of find our feet again a little bit, that we've kind of taken our foot off. Well, we haven't really, but we've been playing some really difficult games recently. Oh no, we haven't even finished that tough run, have we? Because we've still got Northampton to play, and that's the 4th of those 4 games in 11 days. Yeah. But I reckon we'll give them a good game. Let's do it. So, 10th, I think 10th is a good target, actually. Yeah. It'd be nice to finish a place or 2 above that. Yeah. I'll be very happy if we do, but I'll be pleased to finish in 10th. Let's not forget we're Sutton United and we're in League 2. We've been in non-league side. We're in non-league side for 123 years. It's only our 2nd season in the Football League. Yeah. 10th is brilliant.
Well, yeah, so I was going to kind of say, the teams that we've got left, one side of the coin is they've all got something that they're battling for. So obviously they're going to be up for it. But that also possibly makes them fragile as well, because they don't want to necessarily lose the game, so there's a chance for us to get at them as well. And we tend to play or to get the results when we're kind of letting teams come at us. Whenever I see the possession stats and we're up in the 50s, I'm like, oh god, no. Down in the 30s is our sweet spot. We tend to win games when we don't have the ball so much. But Joe, what are you thinking about the running?
It's difficult, and there are actually no. I feel like at the moment it's a really weird running. Like you would say back in February, Rochdale have said that they've got everything to play for. They'll put their bodies on the line. They're from safety. They're bottom of the league. They'll put everything they can. They're away, but they're home for. There's a lot of. I think 10th would be nice with 4 points to Tranmere. I think, but then I think we're kind of in that draw. I can't remember who they have on Saturday. They've got someone quite Bradford. They've got someone quite
possibly.
Oh no, they've got Harrogate. Okay, they've got someone coming up soon that's on a very good run, and I think like rest maybe on Tuesday, maybe just be there. But I feel like the next 4 games for us, in the sense compared to other teams, they don't mean as much, and that they may perform because more pressure. They go up to Carlisle and Northampton are going up, and Rochdale quite at the bottom of the league. So they're both in. One thing that I saw earlier today, which kind of, on the first time I was on the show, we had a chat about it. It was right in the midst of a run. It was after Farm. I saw a TikTok earlier saying, is it time for Matt Gray to go? And I was just like, as Sarah said, we've had Bradford, we've had Mansfield, we got points in such a difficult run. It was got the sad music on, and it was like, oh, crying emoji. Come on, just like, let's think about it. Look, he's done it. It's just annoying. We'll get wins.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up, because that was on my list of things to talk about. I couldn't find it. I saw it this morning. I went off to walk the dog, and I came back for, right, I know exactly what I'm going to say, and I couldn't find it because I thought it was on Instagram. And I was like, oh, maybe someone's moaned at them. Oh, I thought maybe someone's moaned and they deleted it, but I couldn't find it again. But yeah, that's insane. I mean, I get, and I understand the whole putting things for likes and interaction on social media. There's no bad interaction, just interaction. I get that. But Dave, what do you think about the run-in that will we get top 10?
It is difficult, but then looking at the teams directly below us, I mean, I'm looking at the table now on my phone, and the form of Tranmere, 1 win in their last 6, Swindon have lost 4 of the last 6, Grimsby again 1 win in 6. So, I mean, Rochdale are gone pretty much, I'd say, not mathematically, but I think it's doable to get another win or 2 before the end. If we play the way we did yesterday, against Rochdale and Colchester, there's nothing to say we can't get another couple of wins.
Absolutely. I mean, they are fighting for their lives, and Joe said something's happened to Rochdale where they suddenly realised, oh, hang on a minute. But yeah, who knows? I mean, poor Charlotte, she's been through the mill recently. I follow her on Twitter. It's like, right, that's it, we're gone. Oh, hang on a minute, we're twitching. What's going on? And it's like, oh, that's the hope that's going to kill you. That's no good. But yeah, so I'm glad you said it's been removed, Joe, because as I say, I'm hoping some people have commented on it. But what do we feel about the team? Obviously, we're not in charge of it. We don't have any idea of playing budgets. We don't have any idea of contracts or who's available. But Wimbledon have had this player I can't remember his name, but he suddenly scored loads and loads of goals in the last few games. And they're already saying, yeah, he won't be here. So are we going to get a striker that's going to score 20, 25 goals in a season? Because I don't think we'll have him come January if we did have him. If Hish came in and suddenly scored 20 goals, he'd be gone by January. So where and how do we improve this side? Who fits in with our budget and our plans?
I think I've said it before, the whole 25 goal a season, man, is not only kind of a myth with our budget, but also, do we really want that? Do we really want to have so much reliance on one player who, I mean, these people get injured quite easily as well. You know, they always phone themselves into it. And we can't afford a backup for someone like that. So I'm quite happy with kind of having several players who work well together. I like to prioritise that over having 1 or maybe even 2 players who can score a lot of goals.
Yeah. I think I saw, might have been on the forum, someone had mentioned we've got 8 or 9 strikers. Wouldn't that be better to have 4 solid EFL2 strikers? And I'm like, no, because then you're going to have 2 unhappy sitting on the bench. Because players want to play. They do get. I haven't
seen the forum. I haven't had time to read it recently, but I would have said something to that. Yeah. It's like, we can't afford 4 solid EFL strikers. I'm sorry, but we can't.
Matt, what do you think? Matt, I mean Dave. I don't know.
Who's Matt? Well, I mean,
gaff on.
I mean, I love a stat, and I'm looking at the top goal scorers for League Two, and I think Leyton Orient's top goal scorer's only got 10. He's 12th. So, do you need a 25 goal striker, 25 goal a season striker? Bradford are in the playoffs, but they're not top, and so their league goal scorer's got 24. But and then if we've got a goal scorer like that, the bigger club's going to go in and say, well, we'll have him. And that's it, and he's gone. So it's kind of like, it's like careful what you wish for, really. So it's tricky. It really is. Just someone who can like score enough to keep us where we are, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've absolutely not gone through this, but Matt said it. The set piece goals we missed. He said basically where we had players out injured, where you had Ali out, Ben out, Kobe out. Suddenly teams are only picking up Joe. And because they're only picking up Joe, they're able to mark him. But if you've got Ben, Ali, and Kobe and Joe, it's like, well, who are you going to pick up? And one of them becomes free, as we saw when Kobe went on that nice little run where he did 3 in a row. It it's the set pieces that we're missing. It's not necessarily delivery. It's about who's there to get on the end of it. But so sorry, Joe, I didn't ask your thoughts on what do you think we need. Who do you think we can get in?
I thought signings is what's and out. Josh, unfortunately with injuries, provided attack that we needed at points, the pace. Charlie Coppe had a mad development. I think Lee, that's that, and Jacob Lee's been. And I'd agree. 20 have. And just, I'd say another thing apart from another striker hits it, overplay it a bit, just literally a shot like yeah. If we had Joe, then I know, but if we had Joe, I think the Gillingham game had about 6 shots. And he was trying the same thing every time, shooting about 20 yards out, 5 of them, but then one in just something like that where we shoot and get some shots in. So even have to be League 2 striker, maybe 6'4", someone from the national that just gets on the crossing. We've got that attack press with Will and Lone, and then we have an actual someone, an Omar, and then we have that if we get the pushing a real can playoffs like we. I think it'll be so. I don't think it'll be there.
That's what I liked about Lee when he came in. Actually, Joe, he does just hit it, doesn't he?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I think that's what we've been needing because we do. I say it as well. Stop messing about in the box. Just hit it. I say that a lot.
Interesting you mentioned scoring that last minute goal.
I missed it, okay? I had to get a train. All right? Right, but he hit it from the highlights that I saw afterwards. And I saw up to the 84th minute, and I made a wise decision of us not scoring in the last minute.
Right, so to wrap up, I mean, I'm glad you brought up that video because, it's mad to hear people saying things like, oh, is it time for Matt to... No, it's ridiculous to consider that kind of thing. There were some comments at half-time saying we were awful. I mean, I've seen us play worse than that and win games. So it's like, okay, we were outclassed, but we weren't awful. But we'll wrap it up. We will ask you all a question, and annoyingly, there's 3 of you, so it means I've got to join in with this question. But I'm going to ask you for your player of the day. So we'll start with you, Sarah, in a second.
Now watch me do my dance. I'm the player of the day.
That seemed excessively loud. Sarah, who's your player of the day?
Oh, I should have thought about that, shouldn't I? I thought David Adjiboye had quite a good game. He was clearly up for it. And he had some nice little runs. He did some of that David Adjiboye stuff that we all love with his feet, like, skilled feet. I love that. Jack Rose, he had a good game as well, considering.
I only want one from you.
I know, I'm trying to decide which one to choose. I'm picking between those two. I'll go for Adjiboye then.
Dave Adjiboye. Right, so when you mentioned the feet, you do remember my theory that Dave Adjiboye is a Gaelic for the boy. So Dave Adjiboye is Irish. That's why he's got the feet. He does my little river dancing. I'm waiting for his call up for the Republic of Ireland. I'll get my green shirt back on. I'll be like, yeah, come on. I'm not sure how I'm going to go fly with that one, but I'm going to keep banging it. Dave, who's your player of the day? You've not done this before. It can be any reason you like. I mean, we had Ali picked last week because he waved to Rory's kids.
Omar for me.
Omar?
Yeah. I mean, half the time it looked like he was having a wrestling match.
Yeah.
But he was working really hard, trying to bring everyone else into the game, trying to get things going up front. So he's the man for me, I think. We
didn't even get to mention that. There was a point I thought Omar should just walk up to the referee. I think it was Lee that was wrestled on the halfway line. Had to break through.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
Omar should have been going, right, I just want to check if that's okay. Because if it is, I really don't mind. But I just need to know that is okay because I'll be doing it in a minute. Just mad. And Joe, who do you want?
I'll either take Sarah.
The cricket score.
And especially as he's...
This week, notwithstanding, Jack has actually last week just overtook Eastie wins because I think he split one with Kobe and I think they're now on 8.5. Eastie's going to be delighted, especially he's going to play for them. So I had a few names jotted down. You've actually picked most of them, but the other one, I'm going to go with the other wing. Lovely to see him back. And he did show some touches. I hope we get to have another go at him next season and develop him a bit more. But Josh, because he did seem to be August or July all with himself. I thought he had another great game for us to see what the two of them can do together on each wing. So I'll put those 4 names up for a vote. I am having a quick chat in a little while with Charles from the It's All Cobblers to Me podcast, so I'll be slotting that here. And by the power of wonderful editing, we have Charles from It's All Cobblers to Me podcast. Hi, Charles. How are you?
Hello, mate. I'm good. Thank you very much. How are you?
Very well. We're having a much more relaxed season than you are.
That's true. Yeah, you are.
How's the nerves holding out?
No, not great. I'll be honest with you. It's coming right down to the wire, isn't it? Yeah, I am feeling ridiculous. I mean, you can tell by how my voice, what the day at Carlisle 2-2, but 4 games left and they're absolutely massive.
Yeah,
it's great. Yeah, but the nerves are right up. We're not as a club doing anything, I don't think, to help with that, seeing as we've got the size, I don't know, a massive... Yeah, we're doing it the hard way, that's...
So, are you, at this moment, happy the title's gone? Or are you still kind of clinging on to a little bit of hope?
I don't give a fuss about the title. I'll be completely honest with you. I don't give a monkey. Leyton Orient are welcome to it. There was a little bit of time a few weeks back where I was like, oh... You never know. This, it all goes our way. Looks like we could get it. But the most important thing for us, I think, to just get a line, be automatic promoted. Because after what happened last year, I think the quicker we get over it and we're guaranteed, the better. I don't want it going down to the last day of the So, that's all I'm really bothered about. I mean, technically, could still win it. But I don't think a single Cobblers fan out there really. We're literally looking at what will it take. I mean,
it's kind of looking at it, I don't know whether this helps or not. It's kind of in your hands because, yes, Bradford do have a game in hand on you, but you've got to play them. So it's all definitely within your hands. That helps you guys or not.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Because you look at it and you go, right, the table and the way it is got 4 games. If we win all of those 4 games, then we're up. That's the way that I'm looking, is that it is in our hands. Win all 4, we're done. Nobody can catch it, if that's the case. Or at least two surely won't. So, therefore, yeah, I'm looking at it positively and going, you don't even necessarily need to win every single game. You have to match the results of the other teams that are in contention. And when it comes down to playing Bradford, the penultimate game for most of us, I know Bradford's ridiculously, their game in hand is the week on its own, in between the everybody's last home or away game and the last of the season. Yeah. Seems very strange, but they fit it in fine. But it's if we win against Bradford, then at that point Bradford won't be able to catch it, as long as the games 2 games previous we match. So yeah, I'm actually really all fingers, toes, nostrils, everything across that we can actually seal it on that day against Bradford a week early, rather than have to go to the last day away at Tranmere. Yeah.
So, I mean, I normally ask for highs and lows, but I'm not sure your heart rate could say. I mean, you've been up there all season, so you've definitely had it. I think we spoke earlier in the season. That's asking about a lot of. You've kind of been there or thereabouts all season because you dropped down
for a week.
Yeah, but generally you're kind of been up there. One of the most consistent. I mean, Stevenage and Leyton Orient also. I've been up there in Carlisle sitting around a little bit. But what are you hoping for on Tuesday? I mean, one of my guests earlier was kind of the opinion might be looking at matches down the line and want to rest people for bigger matches. And I said, don't forget, we came back from 2-0 down at their place. They probably have some anger issues to take out on us.
I wouldn't call it anger issues. I would just say that, we've not had the best results against you guys over the 2 years we faced. You've got that upper hand, I think, in regards to that. So I think there will be a part of us that will be looking to kind of go out there and right that wrong. That's not the right phrase. I don't mean that. You get go out there and just prove that you're not our bogey, I guess. So... I mean, highs and lows. I mean, you could argue that a low was a couple of weeks. We got thumped 3-0 at Newport. Out of the blue, really. But, yeah, our whole season been a high, really. I wish that we were doing it more comfortably, but that's not the Northampton way at all. So I don't think particular that I can right now at this moment in time turn around and say that's the high. It's not like we have a derby game, in this league. So I would struggle to pick anything out until we've actually finished. The high will be, fingers crossed, the promotion. But the low really has been more of the way that we've had to go about. I think we're up to 30, 12 first team players that are out, and we've been that way since November. Whenever somebody comes back, somebody else gets it in the same game. And, I think we've got something 6, maybe 7 that are now confirmed, definite for the season. They're not going to be back until pre-season, the start. And so I've never known anything. And I know I've talked to lots of different clubs, and they've all talked about how they're in. But I'm yet to actually find somebody that turns around and goes, "Yeah, we've had about 10 first teamers out," because nobody has.
We had, I think, 4 of our 5 centre backs out. So we had to play right back, a centre back, and a right winger at right back. Because the guy who normally played right back, he was out as well. Then we had 2 or 3 of our midfielders out, so we had to play the left back in midfield, and the guy we bought to cover as left back was then also injured. And it's like, what the hell is going on with Terry Bullivant, who's obviously a well-known name in football? It was like, I've never known injuries so long in the same positions. He goes, yes, you've had them spread around the team, but not in the same position. So yeah, we had quite with a very small squad as well. That's the other thing. Well,
we've got our and not fully fit either. 5 foot high central midfielder Jack Sowerby playing in the central defence.
Great.
Sean McWilliams came back, who again is a central midfielder. He came on for the last 15 minutes, I think, against Carlisle. It was first game back in a long, long time, and he had to go in and replace Jack Sowerby in that defensive back role. Wow. We're struggling. We've had to bring in David Norman, who is a Canadian centre, never played in a back 3 before. Always played in a back 4, has never played in English football. He's played in Scotland for a little bit. He's mostly as I said, we've had to play a back 3 because we don't have a right back.
Right, okay.
So we're therefore playing Sam Hoskins, who is our top goal scorer, second top goal scorer in the league. He's having to play right wing back. So you're looking at going, the fact that it's been since November, we've had throughout that whole period of time we've been able to field a whole injured 11 from goalkeeper all the way through to strikers. Every single position we had a long-term injury. Crazy. So that's my low, I think, of injuries, and the majority of them are impact. So you can't do anything, prepare or expect those. And the ones obviously like hamstrings. A few of our fans have questioned these, but the reality is that the honest answer is that those players that are getting those hammies are either being forced to come back a bit early or they've been forced to put a rest. They've become more of those in. So I don't think it's any fault the coach, the club are doing. A ridiculous situation. That is a huge...
And this stage of the season, I know it's only mid-April, but we should be done and dusted. Started in July. So actually, the season should actually be over by now. I know it's only the same number of games. The training in between doesn't affect them. But what I'm hearing is I've made a case Kylian the start because when he came on again, absolutely terrified. He's a unit of a child. He's our academy boy. I can't wait for him to grow. But what are your thoughts on Tuesday? What you just want to get it out of the way, tick it off, get rid of the nasty Sutton, get through the game with no injuries?
Well, I definitely want to get through it without any more injury. That's the first. I've been taking, to be honest with you, mate, I've not really been thinking at all because we're recording on Sunday night. Still, we've not recorded our pod yet where we're talking about the Carlisle game. So I'm still in that kind of, we've got that to talk about before we move on to Tuesday night. But I've been trying to work out, because obviously, I say this obviously, are the playoffs gone for you? I know not mathematically, but what's your...
Yeah, they are. We've just had Leyton Orient, we've got we've got the Colchester, and then Carlisle. So we've got 4 teams all fighting for something, and we're on probably one of the worst runs of the season that we've had, 4 more. So I think possibly... I think we can get 12 points, so we can get 69. So we could sneak in to Mansfield, but that would require Mansfield, Salford, Barrow all collapse. So, we want to hang on to it because that would be good for us.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is the thing, is where you guys come at it from. Like, a lot will depend on how you see the game and how important your own prospects, your own goals achieve for the season. I'm not suggesting, because I don't believe that any team ever does, and start thinking, but I think I would much prefer to face you at the moment than say Rochdale or Hartlepool or Crawley or, just had Stephen Innsfield, because they're all going for something. And I don't know. I would look at it and go, if you see this as a bit of a free hit, i.e., well, let's go out and play some football, then I think at that we kind of go, we can do this. Whereas if you go, mustn't, because we need some, mustn't, you basically just sit there frustrated and keep the point that you start with, then I think it might be difficult for us to break you down. And the one problem that we've had for the last few weeks is this thing where we get to the last 20 minutes and we're knackered. We can't make the change. There isn't enough to bring on for fresh that are good enough, really, let's be honest, to affect a change in the game. So if we were having to chase it come the last 20 minutes, that worries me. On Saturday against Carlisle, we were in charge, had the much better chances all the way up to the final sort of 70 minutes. 70 minutes, we started to tire. Carlisle brought on fresh legs, and if it wasn't for a wonder double save by Lee Burge, we'd have lost. It was really the only chance that Carlisle had. So defensively, we're really, really solid at the moment. But I'm worried that when we get tired, that's where we really have to dig in. So I've gone round the houses to say this, but basically, if we don't score and basically win the match in the first 60 minutes, then at that point, I'm going, a point will do.
Good to know. Right, thank you. Okay, well, thank you very much. I really don't any disrespectful way whatsoever, but I hope I don't need to speak to you again for another couple of seasons, because that'll mean you are promoted. So good luck outside of Tuesday, and hopefully.
Thank you, mate. It's a pleasure coming on as always. I'll miss it.
You didn't even get to do all the who are you and all that other sound rubbish this time.
No.
Right, perfect. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, man.
What do you guys feel very quickly on Tuesday? I'm not sure I can agree with Joe where Northampton are going to go easy. We came back from 2-0 down at their place. I'm fairly sure they're going to have some kind of anger issues over that. But Sarah, if we start with you, what's your thoughts on Tuesday night?
Well, they've got everything to play for, haven't they? I mean, they've got more than we do to play for. That doesn't mean that we're going to take our foot off, but I'm quite nervous about it, actually, because they are a good side, even if we did manage to do what we did at their place. But yeah, I really hope to get something out of that game. It's going to be another one where I'm like, if we don't win it, as long as we get a point out of that, we'll be happy.
Perfect. I'm hoping we start Kylian at terrified at their place. They will not be happy. And on Kylian, sorry, did you see, is it Omar Beckles? He jumped up with Kylian for a corner and bounced about 3 foot away from him and had to have treatment on the floor. Obviously, I don't like having players having treatment, but moral of the story, don't try shoulder barge on Kylian. But Dave...
No, because he's baby Dundo.
Yeah, I know he is. And how many years are we going to not be saying that? We'll be like, do you remember that old guy who played like Kylian?
No, it's always going to be Dundo, don't you dare.
Dave, what do you think of Tuesday?
If we play like we did yesterday, I'd like to think we get a draw.
Perfect. And Joe?
3-0 win? No. No, we'll be fine. I think I'm worried-ish. I'm not worried. I'm trying to let the optimism, as you've said before, youth optimism bias. I'm trying to G him up, but they're on a good run. And they are a good side, and we played well in that second. Good to come back. I wouldn't mind seeing maybe a little bit of squad rotation. I'm not saying that to play a weaker side, maybe, but obviously Colchester is quite a game that we'll be getting. And maybe Kylian playing, get Rob back, get some stuff like that, which might benefit us. I know we're within ones at, but prepared for. I don't know, because that could this up front.
Perfect, lovely. Okay. That wraps it up. Thanks everyone for listening. It's a long one this week. I did cover a lot with the Sutton Volunteer Centre, her Game 2 game and Champions-elect. But don't forget to let us know what you think. Like, follow, share on the socials, podcast, subscribe to the preferred place episode. And until next time, today's panel for Joe, Sarah and Charles in a minute. Hope you've enjoyed this episode of Sutton Podcast. Thanks for everyone's time, care, and see you soon. Thanks, guys. United!
United!